Perfect. So yeah, good afternoon. My name's Sam, and I'm going to talk to you about South Crofty Mine. This, just a disclaimer, means that anything I say you can't hold against me or the company. Pretty standard stuff. But today I'm going to talk to you about tin. This is a photo of cassiterite from some of our core. I'm going to talk about a little bit about the history of South Crofty. I'm going to use talk about history as a tool. I don't like the word tool, but I've done it 3 times. So yeah, so history as a tool, geology as a tool, drilling. Then I'm going to talk about exploration. Of course I am. I'm the exploration manager. Then we're going to close with some of the next steps at South Crofty, what we're up to. And then I have got time for questions, but not if it's 20 minutes. So tin. I assume you all have heard of tin. It's important for the transition that we're going through to sort of emerging green technologies. Rio Tinto in 2018 recognized that we need slightly more tin than we do lithium, and we all hear about lithium. But most of that tin currently comes out of Asian countries. There isn't any primary production in Europe or North America. And as we can see from the tin price, tin has sat around $5,000 a ton up until around 2004. Then we started to see a price increase, and it actually peaked in 2021 around $50,000 a ton. It's currently sitting around between 20 and 30. So South Crofty Mine, for those that you don't know, we're based in Cornwall in southwest England. There's been mining in that region for quite some time. When we talk about South Crofty today, what I'm referring to is basically the culmination of the laser. This section here, a number of mines come together that we refer to as South Crofty. It is located in an economically depressed area. That is due to mining finishing and leaving, but hopefully we can bring that back. Modern history of South Crofty. In 1985, the tin price crashed, which caused most of the mines in Cornwall to come to close. South Crofty actually managed to carry on until 1998. This is because of efficient mining and particularly high grade. But in 1998, it did close because of introductions of stricter environmental regulations, as well as intense economic pressure and a low tin price. There have been a number of attempts to reopen South Crofty Mine. I'd like to say the most successful one so far is Cornish, who took over the project in 2016. But before that, some of the other owners, such as Rio Tinto, they've all added their own stamp to South Crofty, including extending declines, transitions from tracked to trackless mining. But throughout all of this, we have received support from the locals. So why South Crofty? Why have a tin mine in Cornwall? Well, it is one of the higher grade mines in the world, or deposits in the world. We are fully permitted to mine, and this region, South Crofty, is actually about there. You can see has been extensively mined, and it has been almost continuously mined for 400 years. So despite that, there is obviously 400 years of mining. We would assume most of the tin is gone, but South Crofty didn't run out of tin. Just there was economic pressures that closed it, so there's still plenty of tin left. So history as a tool, like I said, I hate the word tool, but we've used it anyway. This we use history to put our deposit together. We are quite lucky, as I said, it's a historical mine. We've got plenty of historical data, whether that's face sheets. We've got a database of over 30,000 channel samples, level plans, stoping records. All of that we put together. We spend a lot of time building our database and then using it to construct wireframes. This is an example of a channel sample. This is on the roof or the back of the development. This is the lobe, and then you've got granite surrounding it. But yeah, so like I said, all of that data feeds into 3D space, which we wireframe. We wireframe for structural continuity rather than grade. We let the geostatistics pick out the grade because a lot of our ore sits within pay shoots, and the geostats picks that out quite nicely. We then feed that through to block modeling. We do need to check our historical records to make sure that everything is placed in the right 3D space. This is a kink that was modeled because of an incorrectly placed channel sample, forcing the block model to predict grade where there isn't. Once corrected, which is the shape in red there, our wireframe and block model sit more coherently together. We then feed in the stope model, again, digitized from historical data, working out where we have ore and where we don't. And then, so history, a little summary. We have a large historic database of channel samples, all sorts of historic data that all feeds into a wireframe in 3D space, which estimation is performed. Our geologists spend time checking over that database to make sure that everything is correct and correctly positioned. Any missing data is then added back in into that model. We then complement that with geology. So geology of Cornwall, our mineralization is related to the granite. The mineralization that we're interested in mostly sits within east-west trending structures, shown in blue here. There are a number of large-scale north-south trending faults. And we use geology to help us, from a regional scale to a local scale, understand the paragenesis of our deposit. At South Crofty, there are 33 different types of lodes, or different lodes, all each with its own characteristics. This is a nice example of some of that paragenesis. We have the main phases that we're interested in are the quartz tourmaline cassiterite bearing phase. There's a later remobilization, which introduces chlorite. From an understanding of a regional geology, we know that the stress regime changed slightly and gave us the structures sort of opened and were flooded with fluorite. The structures then were open again as the stress field changed even more. And in the deposit, we saw development of contour lodes and late quartz veining was cutting the lodes. So in summary to that, we use our geological observations to help understand the mineralogy and the paragenesis of lodes. We understand which phases, so that tourmaline phase is important for cassiterite, so tin bearing. We also use the regional model and applying it to local to see which phases knock out the tin mineralization, all of which feed into giving us confidence within our geological model. Now we go to proving that geological model through drilling. This hole here, we drilled in 2020. It doesn't come out very well on this slide, but these are levels within the mine. The deposit is sat underneath two population centers, so actually places to drill from are limited. So where we have a good surface position, we often have to thread the needle through workings. This hole came between two levels, so between two developments. It was then lifted with navigational drilling and then wedged. So all of this was done in 2020 to prove the concept that we could drill from surface between levels and hit our targets at depth, adding extensions to loads. This kind of idea we've taken and run with now. We're currently drilling out a metallurgical test work program using, we've got 3 rigs, 2 surface and 1 underground. We're soon to add a 4th. But that kind of idea of navigational intervention is something that we're hopefully using to our advantage to access our deposit at depth. Just to show that it does, we do get sunshine in Cornwall. as well as snow, and then there's the boys underground. But the aim of our metallurgical test work is to collect samples for proving the process. But we're trying to achieve this by drilling off of a parent hole. This one here is that 2020 hole. So we've re-entered, we've navigational drilled off to create a daughter hole. We're then adding granddaughters in the shape of basically cookie cuttering around that daughter hole to have granddaughter holes. That displays quite nicely. It doesn't look anything like that because the drillers aren't that accurate when they're positioning the wedge. We often end up with just stick it and see. But we've got up to 8 granddaughters around a daughter hole coming off a parent, all intersecting geological model, the resource model beneath workings. And we've done this on so far 3 of our main loads that we're going to be working in the first 7 years of mine. There's more drilling to come on that, which we are working towards. But from that core, we've tried to maximize information because we are losing the whole core to the process work. So we've employed Geotech's multi-sensor core logger. Haven't actually looked at the data for that yet, so I can't comment. But we are also doing core mapping with a PXRF, just to try and give us some sort of indication as to the grade within mineralized loads. We've used Reflex's Easy Track, and we've tried Omni to help position our holes, as well as carrying out logging and density test work to basically get as much value as we can out of the drill core, all of which adds confidence to our geological model and the resource model. So exploration drilling, that kind of idea of using historic data to build conceptual models. We did that for Great Flat Lode, which is a lode of historical importance. It was worked quite extensively in this area. South Crofty is this side. There's a granite through here, so it's either side of the granite. It was worked quite extensively. We wanted to drill through and prove some drill holes that we've done historically, their grades, and hopefully start to build a near surface tin resource. We did find some records of a deeper parallel structure that kind of never really been fully investigated. That's the Y formation. So although it's nice to sort of hide ourselves within historic data, plan nicely, sometimes you do just have to take a bit of a punt, and fortunately this one paid off. So we'll be working more investigating into the Y formation, understanding how that can that's come to fruition. But drilling as a tool, as a summary, we utilize drilling to prove or disprove our geological models, to test hypotheses of mineralized structures, as well as producing core, which we can gain a lot of information from, whether that's through geological descriptions or through instrumentation, which collects data for us, all of which adds value to the project. So kind of wrapping that up, what are the next steps at South Crofty? Well, last year we raised 40 million, which allowed us to carry out the metallurgical test work. We did that through our partners Vision Blue, as well as a number of other private individuals. That is basically, so that money is getting spent on metallurgical test work and dewatering the mine. I have a little video in a minute which will hopefully explain the task that is ahead of us. But at Crofty, we have multiple usable shafts for ventilation. We have near surface underground workings that we can access and drill from. We're currently building a water treatment plant. Yeah, so here's the video I was talking about. Opening. There. So this is South Crofty Mine. You can see that it goes much deeper than a lot of the other surface mines around. I'll let it spin around. Each one of these is draw points, so they were working on a lode. or a mineralized structure. I'll let it spin around and then hopefully you can appreciate the depth. I should probably sped this up a bit. I'm sorry. And I should also credit Dr. Keith Russ, who made all of these models. Here we go. So yeah, so that shows kind of the depth of workings beneath surface. The mine goes down to just over 800 meters. Currently, the top 120 meters we have access to, which isn't flooded, but we have to pump out the entire mine before we can get down, rehab it, create areas for us to drill from, and investigate our deposit further. Is that playing again? Cool. What the South Crofty mineral resource looks like, we've got 4 million tons at 1.5%, of which just over 2 million tons is indicated and just under 2 million tons is inferred. This kind of map shows that, like I was saying, it's underneath 2 population centers. But everyone's very positive and supportive, so no issues there. Next steps then, we are going to try and increase our mineral resource by drilling underground. So once that mine is dewatered, we're going to access the underground workings, rehab various sections of it, and then drill off into other lode structures, which is obviously difficult from surface because, like I said, there's population centers and we have to thread the needle. And we will complete our metallurgical test work in the next coming year. But that is it. Thank you. I do have some time for questions, yeah. I'm amazed because when I was like sort of running through it, I never got to 20 minutes, but I've done it today, so great.
We're already a bit ahead, so if anyone's got any questions for that, please go ahead.
Hi, Sam. Sam, is the mine dependent on pumping out the deeper regions of the mine to progress the project, or are you looking to progress the project within the relatively shallow areas?
So mineralization, what we're interested in is at depth. Like at surface, it's kind of more polymetallic. Perhaps long term, we would retreat mine through that polymetallic section. But yeah, for us, it's tin at depth is our focus. So yeah, we will need to dewater the mine to get to that point.
Just a follow on question. So when do you hope to start dewatering and complete dewatering?
So we're currently building the water treatment plant as we speak. We've got a lot of tanks at South Crofty now. The actual pumping out should be happening sort of middle of this year. It will be done in stages. So the first 6 months will take us down to 195 fathom level, which is around what we'll call it halfway to the bottom of the mine. That will take us 6 months to there. There's a pumping station at 195 fathom level. We will then refurbish that pumping station, lower the pumps to the bottom of the mine, which will take another 6 months. So yeah, in total with the rehab of the pump station at 195, 18 months to dewater. And then we'll get in there pretty much straight away. I don't know if this is for me. There are handheld mics on the table. Okay.
Any other questions? Well, just a follow-on question.
Oh, cool.
So
There's a guy up there waving at me, so I assume that's what he means.
No worries. That on? Well, yeah. Yeah. So are you dependent on pumping out to get the resource, to get in there to do your drilling, to get the resource up to a level before you then start putting in your infrastructure?
Well, a lot of the mine that once it's pumped out will go to, we're going to use it as basically our tailings facility. We're going to paste backfill a lot of the workings, which means that we don't have to have a surface footprint for tailings. So there will be sections of the mine that we will rehab, that sort of our main access routes in and out of the deposit, but there will be a lot left that we're just going to paste backfill. Is that kind of, sorry, is that answer?
Yeah, so, okay, put it another way, when do you look to start mining proper,
Yes,
mining
the-
and
yeah, okay.
processing?
So the 40 million will take us to the point of a production decision.
40 million.
So once that money's sort of spent, at that point, we'll go to the market again and look to raise further funding, which will then take us through to production. Cool.
Thank you.
Good.